But Chair, I think there's nothing wrong with looking for service providers. The only issue would be, where does this money go to when they are collected? Do they go directly to the county-controlled bank account? Because if they go to CAPS, then they are forwarded to you, then there will be a problem there. But I think, Chair, if this money is collected by CAPS, but it goes direct to the county bank account, then I think we wouldn't have any problem, because, of course, everything will be seen to go to the county. And also, I think the county should have a system that is integrated with this system. They can see real data as it happens. I mean, it's as easy as that, Chair.
Yeah, so we need to be careful that we are not saying go e-citizen. You know, someone might say that go e-citizen. But then why are you saying no? No, I mean, if there's a collection system that's working, why wouldn't you go e-citizen, or you lack control?
But have you forgotten, Chair, that e-citizen is somebody also who collects a fee?
It's almost the same thing.
The 50 shillings.
Yeah. Okay, Senator Cherargei.
Chair, maybe Governor, I remember it's not an idle conversation, by the way. I remember, Governor, we were even discussing, if you remember, Chair, and Senator Ledama would be keen to this, is we even invited KRA. So, because we were wondering, is there a possibility of developing a KRA-like system to ensure counties correct maximum their revenue and to avoid leakages? And I remember that's a conversation we should have in terms of policy, so that we can be able to seal some of these loopholes. Governor, apart from CAPS, how long has been Jambo Pay providing services? And are you aware of the track record of Jambo Pay in some of the counties like Meru, like Busia, and a number of them? What gave you confidence to have an engagement with them? And finally, looking at these challenges that you are facing in terms of collectors and many other issues that has been noted by the OAG, do you believe this is the most efficient system, or you think you can develop? I think Narok has the best brains that can develop some of these systems that can be used to collect revenue. Because I agree with you, you should be moving to 10 billion from 8.5. But if you can ensure some of these issues are resolved, including the issue of valuation role, it would be easy. Okay. Chair, those would be my three questions.
Governor?
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of Jambo Pay, they have only been providing our services for the last 2 years. And because actually they are managing a very small amount in terms of revenue, about 1 billion shilling. That's what they are managing. So I have not seen a problem. I have heard of it after I have already contracted with them, that they had some issues in other counties.
But you need to be concerned that all their revenue streams are dropping, despite
correct.
all the explanations you're giving. That should be an indicator that there's a problem, because automation is supposed to increase efficiency and collection, but we are hearing a lot of stories around the streams they are managing.
I'm learning that from you, Senator, but as I said, I have not seen any problem so far. It's only 2 years they have just started. The other issue of you ask whether we can develop our own. That's what we are doing right now. Counties are going that way, that we develop our own system so that we can save the 6.5% that we are paying to the service providers.
So maybe because, Governor, you are saying you are learning from us in one of your service provider, Jambo Pay. What is the level service agreement? Do you do review yearly in terms of year under review, the finance year, or do you do monthly? Do you do quarterly? How often do you review? And sometimes is there a downtime when this service provider, both the Jambo Pay and CAPS? Because if there are any problems that have been faced in other areas, then, and Chair has rightly observed from the document we have been given, there is a steady decline in some of the revenue streams of the provider. What is the level service
Governor?
Provider saying? Service level agreement.
Yeah, we normally do quarterly. Quarterly.
So they are talking.
No, members, I'm convinced, and I'm doing this because of time, that we might need a systems audit in Narok. Because if you go to issue number 6, you have weaknesses in Kenya Airports Parking Services System, the one that is used to collect park fees. We have just dealt with issue number 4, where there is over-reliance on a service provider. There is lack of visibility, and the Auditor General says that the county does not have mechanisms to ensure the completeness and accuracy of the revenue collected. And then the auditor goes ahead and says that there are weaknesses in the system. And he raises 6.1, use of cash as a mode of payment, 6.2, services not in the County Finance Act but mapped in the CAP system, and 6.3, services incorrectly charged to customers in the law system. And all that the auditor is saying are weaknesses in the system. Now, because of time, because remember we still have to deal with Murang'a County, and by 2:30 we need to be in the chamber. Honorable members, I was proposing that we either do a systems audit or generate a few additional questions so that we can get the assurance as a Senate that this service provider is offering the best kind of service for Narok. This service provider is not collecting and reporting, that this service provider, as raised by the Auditor General, can guarantee the completeness and accuracy of the revenue collected. I think that's something that we can do. We have the power to do so. Even if it's not today, we can direct that we field a set of questions and even invite the governor alongside CAPS, because this perhaps is the second most important revenue collection system in counties after the one for Nairobi. And I think even for Nairobi, we're in that space where we want to do a thorough systems audit. Honorable members, can that be a good way for us to deal with this? Yeah. Senator Ledama?
Oh.
I think, why don't we go through this so that we know whether it is necessary or not, to see whether, I don't know about your time, but if you look at those weaknesses, if there are any responses that can satisfy. Because I think one of the key most important thing, Mr. Chairman, is that once we go through these queries, we mark them either resolved or unresolved. So that auditors, when you're carrying out your next financial year audit, you take cognizance of the issues that would have already been resolved. So if we could take a few more minutes, and I don't know whether we have the time.
I'm afraid if you were to go through the 3 issues then, and put in the questions and interrogation, we will not be able to convene for Murang'a County. So
a system audit would be ideal.
So let's go either the system audit or prior to the system audit, just an inquiry where we are asking CAPS to come and provide those assurances.
Chair, I agree on this issue of system audit because some of these issues, one is that I think it is not only Narok. We need, like Nairobi, a number of counties. We went with you, Busia. We should sample a number of counties and request the OAG to do the system audit. Then we invite the service provider, and I think CABS, Jumbo Pay, among others, who provide revenue collection systems, including the internal revenue systems done by counties. Then when we receive the reports, Chair, then when we receive the report, if there are glaring issues, we can re-invite the client back. But if we do the system audit and those issues are resolved, then we don't need to go further. But I suggest, Chair, apart from meeting the entity, we must also meet some of these service providers like Jumbo Pay, Cabs, even the internal revenue system, because we went to Trans Nzoia, the revenue was falling by 50%. Yet they were saying they had changed to a better revenue collector. You go to Mombasa, Chair, I'm requesting, and even in Nairobi. In fact, Sifuna, you are aware, I don't know whether you are aware of this, that by the time the revenue report was ready to be tabled by the Speaker in the Nairobi County Assembly, it disappeared between the tabler and the Speaker's office and the chamber. So we need to do that system audit even here in Nairobi.
Okay, members, I think we now need to make some substantive progress. We would have gone through all these issues, but the headline is weaknesses in the CAP system. And if the auditor found weaknesses, there is no way the Senate can say that, no, it is not weak, it is effective. And that is how we'll report to the House, that there are weaknesses in the system, there are issues of cash handling, there are issues of mismapping of revenue streams, but we will keep this matter open until we ask the necessary questions and get the relevant answers from the county and from the service provider. Honorable members, I think the remaining issues we will consider the written responses, and if the written responses are not adequate, then we might need to call the governor back. But I hope, Governor, in your neat set of documentation, I hope that you have attached evidence of closure of the issues that you have reported as closed. And we intend to table a report on Narok perhaps in the next 3 or so weeks before the Senate, because we have agreed that we'll be sending reports for 10 counties, batches of 10 counties. And so in the next 3-4 weeks, you'll see our recommendations, and it will be a duty to implement them. We must now bring this session to a close. Because of time, we will donate our time as senators to the senator for Narok. So, Governor, make your closing remarks, and then Senator Ledamo Lekina will speak on our behalf.
Thank you very much, Chair and Honorable Senators. I think for me, I have learned a lot from the questions that you have asked. And I will be more than ready, because at the end of the day, all of us are working for the people of Kenya to improve on systems that we have, or even any ideas that can make sure that we do what we are supposed to do. On the issue of governors not coming to the Senate, I think, Chair, I suggest that we have a meeting between the governors and the senators, the leadership, so that if there are issues, I think we can discuss and see what is the problem. Maybe it is normally good to give somebody time to explain what is this that they are having a problem, so that again you hear from their from their mouth. And then also, and I'm not saying that's why I've come here. I've come here because I have nothing to hide. I've even learned a lot from the question that you have asked, and I think my colleagues are ready to come, and most of them have come to these Senate committees. The best way to do is not what is happening right now, in my opinion. I think the Senate is a house of decorum, a house of records, and we ought to respect the Senate, and also vice versa, the senators to have respect for their governors, because at the end of the day, all of us are serving our various counties, and we want the best for our people. I request you, Chair, and I have not been sent by the Council of Governors, but my honest opinion, that let's have a seat and just listen to each other, and I'm very sure we can solve this this problem if there is any. Otherwise, today I have not seen any shouting much between the senators and myself, and I hope we continue with that. That does not mean that you have not asked me a hard question. You have, and I have taken it, as a learning process, but not as a criticism or making noise out there. I don't think TVs or anywhere will help us. What will help us is the leadership of the Senate to sit down and just have a sort of like a sit together and find out what is the issue. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We are ready for a meeting. If it's a meeting on how to move roads to counties, how to deal with KERA, how to deal with intergovernmental agreements, on national government encroachment of county functions, how to empower ECD teachers, how to ensure there is water in counties, how to ensure that the health services and function is fully devolved, we are ready to have a meeting. But we don't have time to meet to gossip. Senator Ledamo Lekina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I echo your words. And in my view, let me first of all begin by thanking the Governor of Narok. Thank you for respecting me. Thank you for respecting the Senate, for having made the time to be able to come here. I'm quite impressed with the preparation of your documents. You came here ready. Of course, there are issues that needs to be dealt with. And the quality also. The quality was superb. I'm concerned a little bit about financial documents preparation in terms of giving a total summary rather than giving a detailed description. Note 32 of the financial statement on trade payables needs to be clearly defined and itemized so that it is easy for us to know what is all pending bills. And the reason why we are calling them now trade payables is because we've moved from the cash basis of accounting to the accrual basis of accounting. So there's no longer a pending bill, it is mostly a trade payable. So I would like to request and urge the parole roads. I think this is an argument and discussion that we're prepared to proceed with so that we actually support our counties and send more money to the counties. I want to end by re-emphasizing on the issue that I raised earlier on in my earlier submissions, that failing to hold someone accountable is ultimately an act of selfishness. We shall continue holding the county governors accountable. You know, they have to come to the Senate. That is not an issue of discussion. I think my views are a little bit different from the chairperson. We will not have a discussion about whether you appear in the Senate or not. Even the cabinet secretaries do appear in Parliament. That is under the Constitution. I believe it's Article 153 or 53, one of the two, 153. And when you look at our Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, Section 19, they're quite clear. This Senate has the powers. And under Article 125 of the Constitution, we have the power similar to that of the High Court. Now, don't be duped, governors, to think that you can have a collective decision and you go by it. You know, we do not have Auditor General report for 5 counties together. Unless you're saying that it is time for us to collapse the counties and make them 5 counties or 1 county. You know, these are semi-autonomous units that must be accountable for. And what Governor Tutu did today was to demonstrate that you are ready to adhere to a fiduciary responsibility. So I thank you for coming, and Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the way you've carried out this session. It is very different. And as your whip, trust me, I will maintain you in this committee because I see you do a good job. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I have a question to ask the governor regarding his request. I didn't mean to speak after. The leader there.
Okay, make it quick.
Very brief. Governor, how do people who have already decided that they will not appear before this committee ask for a meeting? What are they coming to discuss? They have already told us what they are going to do. They will not appear before PAC, and they have told us that even with PIC, they'll appear when they want. So what sort of conversation are we supposed to have with people who are essentially...
What was the problem? The only reason why I said this, Senator, we are all leaders. And as leaders, if you see me making some, some statement that warrant to look like there is a big problem, then I don't think it will hurt or it will have any problem if we can just, the leadership of the Senate and the leadership of the Council of Governors, and then we iron these issues if they are, and ask ourselves questions. I'm not saying that Senator Sivuna and Kajwang that people should not come for the summons. That's why I've come. I'm leading by example.
So, Chair, he has given me an idea. He has given me an idea. Immediately, we clear with those governors who read that statement here in this committee. We can have that meeting, in my view. So our clerks should look at our schedule and front load the governor of Mandera, is it? Wajir. Yeah. And the governor of Tarakanith. We really would want to start those formal meetings with those two here first. Then we can now have the other.
Senator Sifuna, you remember the governor of Tarakanith ran away, literally.
Yeah. He needs to
Unless
come back.
we send Inspector General of Police to escort him back to the meeting.
I think the time we will engage with the governors collectively will be to discuss policy, constitutional and statutory challenges to devolution. And we have highlighted quite a few here. But one of the threats facing 23 counties today is drought. If you want us to be in a room, maybe call a meeting to discuss the drought situation. And then the other gossip can be A or B. But there's no way we are going to sit in a meeting with people who have demonstrated bad intent and ill will and contempt to the Senate. So we have time to discuss everything under the sky, but not time to come to a meeting ya kuwabembeleza. HATUTABEMBELEZANA. So let's all have some thick skin. We are leaders. Let's take criticism. Tulisema ukikuja mbaya, hata sisi tunapambana na wewe. If your documentation is embarrassing, we shall embarrass you. If your submission is embarrassing, we shall embarrass you. You have done well. I believe you have not been embarrassed. You have not been harassed. You have not been intimidated. You have not been humiliated. And this should be the spirit. This meeting is adjourned. We wish you a safe journey home.
It's something that I forgot, and I really wanted to thank the Senate for pushing the 450 million. I want to say that billion. Please, we are with you on that. And we want to thank you. Continue pushing this money. We need it.
Only on that.
You are with us.
Only when you need
Only
money.
when you want money, then you are with us.
That is a problem. Fine. The meeting is adjourned. We will, I think the delegation from Narok can be ushered out by the Sergeant at Arms, because we also need to convene to discuss the matter of Moranga.